collaborative commitments that match the scale of our common challenges. It now gives me great pleasure to invite my co-host, Prime Minister Keir Starmer, to make his own remarks. I thank you.
Thank you so much, President Ramaphosa, distinguished guests. The UK is proud to have co-chaired this 8th replenishment with South Africa, the first time it's been co-hosted by partners from the global north and south. And I want to start by saying a big thank you to all of those that have contributed, and of course, Peter Sands and his team. What the Global Fund has achieved is one of the most helpful and inspiring stories of human progress. Since the UK hosted the first replenishment back in 2002, our shared investments have saved over 70 million lives across more than 100 countries, cutting the combined death rate of these diseases by almost 2/3 and building stronger, more resilient health systems. Just think of what that has meant for millions of families, the children growing up with their parents, the parents not having to bury their own children, the hope of a future where once there was a death sentence. Yet, heartbreakingly, malaria still kills a child under 5 years of age every minute. Just think about that. 4,000 adolescent girls and young women still contract HIV every week. TB remains the world's single deadliest infectious disease, even though we've had a cure for almost a century. And the rise of antimicrobial resistance even threatens some of the progress that we thought we'd made. So let me address very directly what many of us are feeling right now. How do we win this fight when countries like my own are having to make difficult decisions on our development spending? Well, first, even when we make these decisions, we can choose to prioritise global health and to prioritise organisations like the Global Fund, with a clear ability to maximise the effectiveness of the money given to it. That is what the UK has done and will continue to do, because it's the right thing to do and it's in our national interest too. No one is safe from disease until everyone is safe from disease. We invest in the Global Fund because it provides very clear and tangible benefits in terms of lives saved and diseases combated. That is enough of a justification on its own in my book. But I also know there are benefits for the UK economy and a huge opportunity for UK life sciences to help grow our economy and create more jobs by continuing to pioneer new life-saving treatments, like the British breakthrough in bed nets that work against insecticide-resistant mosquitoes. And by drawing in the private sector investment, we can also bring down the cost of new treatments. So I'm delighted that in the last 6 months, we've seen the biggest ever commitments from the private sector. Second, we have got to reform the global health system. So every penny, every rand, every cent that we invest has the greatest possible impact. And let's be honest, let's be frank, institutions have multiplied, there are too many silos, health systems have become fragmented. So I really welcome the Global Fund's commitment to reform, putting countries back in the lead, strengthening national health systems, keeping communities at its heart, and working ever more closely with multilateral partners like Gavi and key regional bodies like the African Union. And third, and this is very much the story of our times, we've got to work together to pioneer a new approach to development. It means countries like mine resetting our relationship with the Global South, a relationship based on partnership, not paternalism, a shift from donor to investor. It means supporting countries in the Global South to raise more finance domestically. It means tackling unsustainable debt. And most importantly of all, it means working with our international partners to usher in a new era of private finance, including by reforming the international financial system, where we can support the ambition to triple the financing from the multilateral development banks. And look, the UK is uniquely well placed to help, not least with the strength of our financial services, and I'm determined that we will do. Building on the work that President Ramaphosa has started with South Africa's G20 presidency. And can I just say what a fantastic thing it is that the G20 is being hosted in Africa for the first time here in South Africa. What a wonderful opportunity. It has been a great success, and the next 2 days will build on that success. Congratulations, Mr. President. We will work to convene an international coalition to mobilise private investment for development, and together we will bring the full power of the private sector and use it to help solve some of the most pressing global issues of our time, like the fact that 2 million people still die, even from these preventable and treatable diseases every year. In the United Kingdom, I've set the goal to be the generation to end all new cases of HIV. Let's be the generation to end all 3 of these diseases. As Nelson Mandela once said, it always seems impossible until it's done. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Prime Minister, thank you very much indeed. Prime Minister Starmer, thank you very much indeed. President Ramaphosa, we're talking about ushering in a new era. We now turn to a series of transformative pledges and commitments from global leaders, announcements that will shape the future of global health and demonstrate the strength of our shared resolve. Please welcome to the stage the Prime Minister of Norway. Do we have the Prime Minister of Norway in the room? I believe we do. Yes, sir. Thank you very much indeed, Prime Minister of Norway. Your Excellency Jonas Gahr Støre. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, sir. I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say. Thank you.
What I have to pledge. President Ramaphosa, I told you it's a slightly emotional moment for me to be here today as Prime Minister of Norway, because I was there when the fund was created some 25 years ago and the work leading up to it. And it was said that this marks a new era for public health. Actually, that era started back then. The DG of WHO is sitting there. It was an extraordinary moment around the turn of the century when there was a lot of innovation happening, when there was the conviction that investing in health saves lives, takes care of dignity, but also spurs economies. So even ministers of finance and presidents and prime ministers saw that this was a larger stake. And I would just like to salute the work that has been done in global health for those 2 decades, because in a world where we struggle to uphold the notion of multilateralism, which should be obvious to all, but we struggle against very strong currents, those 2 decades have been transformative, and we have to take care of that legacy and build on it to move forward. That's my short personal note, because I think this is absolutely extraordinary. And to all of you in the Global Fund, thank you for the public service you are offering. Then, on behalf of Norway, we will pledge 2 billion Norwegian crowns, which is $200 million for the next years. And likewise, we have contributed to Gavi for the same periods. And we invest in the Global Fund for the precisely reasons I have expressed. I'd like to take this opportunity to make just 3 points, 3 inputs. First, we are concerned that women's and girls' sexual and reproductive rights are under pressure. That money, very little money, which makes huge impact, is being taken away, and it is hurting these people, the girls and the women, in a very harsh way. Poverty is striking women harder than men, we know. So this is a trend we really have to work and safeguard the progress. The other issue, in the transformative time, we have to work on the global health architecture to make it optimal. That WHO has to cut its budget significantly because one country is pulling back money is very serious for all of us. So now we have to come together and see how we can make the best of the rest. And thirdly, better global health, as always, begins at the local level. So how do we make health systems adaptive and have enough people there to offer the services that can really make the difference in these 3 major diseases, but also beyond? We need to expand primary care. That's where it starts, that way we reach the vulnerable mother, either with the bednet or with introducing how you deal with the diseases of under 5. There is a Lusaka agenda which emphasizes this, mobilizing finance, and we have to support all of that. So, Mr. President, thank you for convening us for G20 on the African continent and also for this tremendous Replenishment Summit. Thank you.
Prime Minister Garastor, thank you very much indeed. I'm now delighted to welcome up onto the stage the Taoiseach of the Republic of Ireland, Micheál Martin, TD.